Yeah, Fergal, so at the end of another transfer window, second one since you've been at the club. Just reflect on that. Been a busy transfer window, incomings and outgoings.
Yeah, it was probably busier than we had imagined and had planned for. We knew there would be some movement. There were some areas that we wanted to improve, and then we knew there were certain players would leave because they weren't getting enough game time, and that was fine. But probably the goalkeeping situation resulted us having to make 2 transfers that we probably hadn't planned at the beginning of January, and then the injuries that Marcus and Mario received probably speeded up and need to bring in reinforcements there. But overall, really happy with the window. I think we were calm throughout because of the great work that the recruitment team had done. We always had lists, we always had possibilities, so we were calm throughout and managed to execute what we needed and wanted to do.
In January, it's a very long month for many reasons, post-Christmas and with the transfer window. But we started it off getting in Lewis Temple from Ireland, and then finished with Johnny Kenny right on the deadline day. So you could just talk us through a bit some of those signings who came in. You mentioned the goalkeepers, but just about what they bring to the club and how you identified them.
Yeah, I would say, Paul, look, a lot of our planning started months ago. The first signing we made or got over the line was Lewis Temple, and Lewis was a player that we've been tracking for quite a while, that we didn't expect to come straight into the team and play, but we know has a very, very bright future, and one that we wanted to work with, and we wanted to bring in a younger player into that squad that could be asset for the club in years to come. So that was the first one we ended up doing. Then in terms of some of the exits, we had a number of players that were out of contract in the summer that weren't getting much game time, and it just made sense for them and for the club that we let them go on their way. So that happened with Victor, Will and Josh. They ended up going. We always had a plan that we wanted to add some more goals to the team. We also felt that we needed to give some support to Mario. He was the only one really that was playing on the right wing, and sometimes he needed a rest. So we were going to bring in one winger, but then unfortunately Mario picked up a long-term injury and Marcus Force. So that sort of changed. We decided then to bring in 2 wingers. So again, Rob is a player that we've been tracking for a long, long time. So we quite easily got that one done. And then with Corey as well, Corey became available, and it was perfect for us. So we have a player that could play left and right. Corey's right-footed, can play on the left, but perfect for what we have, and also someone that will put balls into the box. So that was what we looked at. And then look, we had an opportunity to sell Aaron. Aaron wasn't playing as much as he would want. We got a good offer, and we decided it was the right thing to do for the club. At the same time, we had the possibility of bringing Ruben in. He had gone to Brazil and it hadn't quite worked out for him there. But we loved his profile. Again, been tracking him since the summer. So I thought, okay, well, if we can sell one and bring one in on a free transfer, it's good business. And it was a profile that we thought could work for us. And then at the end, at the end of the window, then we got Johnny Kenny through the door, and Johnny's a player that's no secret. We tried to sign in the summer. Celtic wanted to keep him for 6 months, and that was fine, but he became available this window. And he's a profile that we think absolutely suits how we want to play. So they were the main ones that we sort of planned for and were working alongside. And then we had the 2 goalkeepers, and that was probably one a little bit unexpected in some ways, but in the space of 5 or 6 days we managed to change that and bring in 2 very good keepers in Jack and David, both on permanent transfers, which made sense for the club. But look, all of this was made possible by the great work the scouting team had done. We didn't panic. We always had possibilities. We always had lists of players that we feel fitted our profile and what we're looking for. And then when it came to it, we were able to execute when the time came.
And I guess the hope for every transfer window is to end the transfer window stronger than when you're starting. And I guess you and Stephen and the recruitment team feel that's the case.
Look, we're really happy with the players that we had at the start of the window. I said that we weren't planning to do loads of business. I thought the squad of players that we had in the first half of the season were excellent, but I always knew that there would come some players knocking on the door because they weren't playing. Okay, and sometimes you need to change it and freshen it up a little bit, and that's what we've done. I'm also very happy with what we have now at the end of January, and I think we've got a strong squad now to go into the next few months.
Again, those players very much fitting with the system and the identity that the manager and yourself want from the
Yeah,
team.
that's it. We spoke in the summer about wanting to play with wingers, and we had 3 wingers competing for 2 positions for the first half of the season with Mario, Ibs and Thierry, and they all contributed in certain ways. Mario then got a long-term injury, so we're not sure how long he's going to be out for, but we did need reinforcements. So we've now got 2 players for each wing. So going into the final 16 games, that brings us competition, and we brought in different types of players. Corey is a faster winger, and Rob is more a silky winger that can come inside, but Corey is more direct. But I think you saw on Saturday the 2 complement each other, and also with Thierry there and Ibs, I think they've raised their games in the last couple of weeks as well. So we're looking good in those areas.
And that's what it is. It's about, you know, not just boosting the squad with extra quality, but it's about, you know, bringing competition to places to get more of the current lads that we've got. And, you know, we've seen that. I mean, just picking one player in particular, Sam Dolby. Yeah, you know, he's really seems to have found his feet now. He had perhaps a difficult start to his Wanderers career with that injury sustained in pre-season, but you know, from what I've seen and you know, from hearing what the fans are saying, that he's very much looking to be a Bolton Wanderers centre forward.
Yeah, look, Sam is doing exactly what we knew he could do. He's a player, if you look at his career, when he's at a run of games, he's been at his best. It's difficult when you're coming off the bench for 10 or 15 minutes and not getting regular minutes. And he's shown that in the last month. He's excellent. His attitude in the period when he wasn't playing was tremendous, and he's just shown what he can do in the last month. His hold-up play, his work rate, how he links it. He's scored some goals for us as well, and I think he'll score even more as we go on the running. And
yeah, just looking at the season where we're at the minute, 3rd in the table, really knocking on the door for those top 2 spots. How do you assess the season so far? And obviously with the second half of the season to come, what are you hoping and expecting from the boys?
Look, I think we're 3rd at the end of January. Okay, so we're in a really good position. There's still a long way to go and still a lot of games to go. The first 30 matches, I think we've had some brilliant performances and maybe not getting the results that we deserved. And then maybe the performances in certain games have dropped off a little bit, but we've ended up getting the wins. What we're looking for the next 16 games is top performances and top results. And I do believe we've got the squad and the ambition and the work rate of all of the staff and players to achieve that.
Yeah, and you know, a stadium like ours with the crowds that we do get in League One, you know, I believe with the highest average, how much importance are the fans to what we want to achieve? I mean, we've seen just how great the fans can be, home and away. With the tough games that are coming up, how important are the fans for
the fans have got a massive role to play in this club. Like from the minute that I start to talk to a player and they hear about the attendance and the passion, they want to come to the stadium because it's full of supporters. Other teams, when they come, they get a little bit scared of the amount of fans that we have, and we've got to embrace that energy. We need the fans to be the 12th man. We need the positivity, which they give us. Like Wimbledon at the weekend, there's only 900 there because that's all the tickets we got, but they were amazing. And we need that at every home game for 95 minutes, and together we can achieve what we all want to achieve. But we need to do it together. It's not just the players, not the staff, it's everybody together.
And I guess when players do come in January, they have to be almost ready and hit the ground running. So that, I guess that very much takes part of your planning, doesn't it? You know, like you obviously monitor the players, how they've done for the clubs in the run up to the window, and equally they've got to be in a state of hitting the ground running.
Yeah, that's true, because we don't have that long left in the season, so you need players that can make an impact as quick as possible. But a lot of players that move in January tend to be players that haven't played that much in the first half of the season. So they might be fit in terms of not being injured, but are they fit to play games? So it's something that our sports science team needs to manage and make sure that we don't kill the players in the first few weeks. So we need to manage it through, but we're confident that the players that we've brought will be robust enough. But also the big thing for me is that they have the attitude and the hunger that they want to come and try and achieve something with Bolton Wanderers in the next few months.